G'day avocado enthusiasts, and welcome back to Scott Grows an Avocado Tree. It is time for what is now, I guess, an annual update on the avocados that we're tracking for Avocado Diaries. If you've been around on this channel for a while, you'll know that my goal here is to grow an avocado tree from seed to the point of bearing fruit whilst documenting the process. And for the last few years, I have been doing that with these two trees. Started out as 6, not all of them made it into soil. Then when I moved house, not all of them made it, they didn't survive, but these two have been doing fantastically. So these are about 3 years old and they're doing splendidly. My process at the moment for them is that I will upsize them into the next size pot up each year so that we can encourage that root growth, but also not run into problems with root rot. We don't want to upsize a pot too fast because there's going to be space for water to stagnate, which is going to cause problems. Bacteria and fungi can breed in there or multiply, and that's going to cause a problem for the root systems. But as it has been, these are doing fantastically. We're really excited to get in and see what their root systems look like because it's been a year. And yeah, but as you can see, let's just take a quick look over these ones. This one has got 2 stems coming out of one trunk, or 2 real branches. It's really split off. I'm gonna keep that going. I could have pruned it to have just one main one, but I'm enjoying what it's doing. Then we've got this taller one. They did originally have names, but I've forgotten what they are. Maybe one day I'll go back and dig out the flags, and not right now though. And then we've got this one here, which is getting quite a bit of height to it, and it's just punching out growth. So they're both pushing out a lot of growth at the moment, which is really exciting. And it is spring now in Melbourne, Australia, which means that it's time to repot. And we'll give them their next size home. But before I can do any repotting, I need to get some pots. So I need to measure them and go and do some shopping. Okay, so I've gone and gotten the next size up. So if you can see, using the bird's eye camera, like it's only a few centimeters bigger in any direction, like depth-wise and width-wise, and that's perfect because it means that we don't have big empty pockets where water's gonna stagnate, as I said before, and the roots are going to just be able to go out that little bit more, grow, and then next year we'll size it up again. So let's get to it. If you've been around a while, there's not going to be any huge surprises. I haven't changed any strategies really. I'm using the same soil mix or potting mix recipe, and I'm going to, just kind of upsize it now. So I've got this potting mat because I don't want to have to try and clean soil out of my gravel. Not that my gravel is super fabulous, but I'll leave it there for the minute. And I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to take the tree out of the pot and I'm going to put some potting mix in the base, place it in, then backfill. So I don't actually need to use a lot for this. If you're curious about the soil mix that I'm using, it's 1 part coconut peat, 1 part the cheapest possible potting mix that I can find, and then 2 parts perlite to really help it to be really well draining. There's also actually at the moment, I've been filling a terrarium, a very large one, so I've also got some horticultural charcoal in there, which isn't gonna be a problem for it. So there is probably a little less organic matter actually than usual, so I may end up doing more fertilizing, but that's okay. So what I'll do, take a good scoop, because when you're repotting into the next size pot up, you don't actually need a heap of potting mix. I'm going to just pop some in the base there. And we're going to take the tree out of the pot to do that. And I'm gonna have to try and find an angle where the tree itself doesn't run into any problems, because my backyard is starting to run into some issues with this because it's getting quite tall. Like if I stand next to it actually, let's see. It doesn't quite fit in frame actually, does it? The tallest branch itself is kind of up to my armpits, which is great. Like I'm expecting it to probably get taller than me in the next year, which is cool and not that hard. I'm not very tall, not a tall person. I don't know if I give off tall person energy. I am not a tall person. I'm 170 centimeters if that means anything to you. I don't know what that is in feet and inches, and I'm not gonna look it up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just give it a bit of a roll, squeeze the pot, because I don't wanna damage it at all. It is fairly well watered at the moment. I don't really want to be repotting a dry plant because it could be harmful to it. I want to preserve the roots as much as I can. Now, once I've done, give it a squeeze, give it a roll, I can pull it out, and that is exactly what I want to see. Like, I'm really happy with that. So we've got lots of roots that are clearly met the edge of the pot. They're starting to wind around the bottom a little bit, but not too much. So I'm really stoked with what that root ball looks like. That's fantastic. So I'm going to give it a tickle. So just to help the roots know that they're going to be going into a different spot. Obviously not know with a brain, but they will be able to, you know, find the different directions they need to go in. And I'm going to use that later, pop that into the base there. That's pretty good. And backfill all the stuff that I just lost. Take out any weeds which we have accumulated. And then use my soil mix here to backfill. Well, I've not done an awesome job of getting it bang in the middle, but I'm not too unhappy with that. I was planning on putting a stake in this tree last year, but it was actually standing up by itself really well, unless I really let the pot dry out, in which case the plant just gets top heavy. But otherwise, it's standing up really well by itself. It doesn't get heaps of wind through here, but it gets enough to just move the trunk around a little bit, which will help it to strengthen as it goes. Like, the trunk itself is pretty sturdy. And because we're not sizing it up too much, its roots are really doing the job of anchoring it in. So that there has been repotted for another year. We'll set that aside and we'll get the second tree, which is slightly smaller, but mostly because it's got 2 stems, so it's working harder at a lower level. But that's okay. There's a few reasons why I really like plastic nursery pots. They drain really well, they're cheap, but also they're easy to repot. Like, if I had put this into terracotta or something hard, squeezing it, rolling it would have been much more difficult, and I would have probably had more root damage when I took it out of the pot, because as it is, like, I can squeeze, that loosens the soil, that means that there's a lot less resistance, and then I can just take it out like that. And again, that is a beautiful root ball. Like, these trees, we're doing the right thing for them. So again, give them a tickle. I'm just gonna pop it down so I don't lose too much more soil. Give it a loose tickle. This one's not quite as root bound as the other one. The other one was pretty good. All right, and that, avocado enthusiasts, is our 2 avocados that we're tracking in Avocado Diaries, potted up for another year. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna pop them back kind of around this frame, but they may be getting a bit big to put on it, and I'll give them a water, and we'll continue to wait and watch them grow. I'm really happy with how they're traveling. They're superb. Look at them. Look, they're just doing a great job. Very happy. I'm gonna do it quickly so you can still see, because it's getting dark. I've decided to do this in the cool part of the day, but I left it to the afternoon and the sun sets just behind me, so you could not see a thing on the camera an hour ago, so I had to wait till it gets a little lower. So it is properly dusk now. I didn't want to wait till morning because I wanted to do this now. I don't want to put like too much force through this at once because I don't want to damage the root system. I'm just going to go back and forward between pots for a bit. I really want to saturate it, and I can throw a lot of water on plants outside because the wind and the sun will dry them out a lot faster than they do inside. So it's really important to saturate these when you repot them. It's important to do that with any plant, but especially when they're outdoor plants, because as the days are warming up, the need for water is greater, and we don't want them to run out, really. And yeah, you can hear there's a bit of noise in the background there. That's because I'm using rainwater here, and that's the pump from my tank, which is just behind the frame here. It takes up about a quarter of our backyard space, but we do love using rainwater on things, so no complaints here. Just as well, I've finished potting these up because it is starting to get dark, so I'm gonna finish it there. These avocado trees behind me that we're tracking in the series Avocado Diaries, the project that will see me, hopefully, grow avocado trees from seed to the point of bearing fruit whilst documenting the process, I'm thrilled that they're doing so well. Thank you so much for joining me on this video for this annual update. There may be more updates in between now and then. If all goes well, probably not, though I may stake one of them, and I'll talk about that if we get there. But right now, I'm going to let them do their thing, continue to put their roots into these larger pots, continue to have fantastic upward growth. I'll give them a fertilize at some point as well, but these are doing fantastically. So thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed what you saw here, please make sure you're subscribed to Scott Grows an Avocado Tree. I don't just make one video a year where I'm talking about these ones. I make videos about all kinds of avocado and houseplant related things, and I'd love to have you along for this avocado growing journey. And if you just want to see more of my things in general, well, you can see me on Instagram. I'm there at Scott Grows an Avocado Tree. But if you want to see things that aren't just avocados and plants, well, feel free to check out That's Pretty Cool. It's a channel that I've been running for a couple of years now, where I endeavour to explore a range of topics that inspire in me a sense of curiosity and wonder. And if you enjoy this kind of thing, I am pretty sure that you're going to enjoy what I'm doing over there as well. Thank you once again so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree.